Okay, we are going to show the repeat round, and I've just undone this, basically the slip knot. I leave it loose on purpose. I undid it, and I am going to now tighten it down now that I have all of that done, and see it's nice and neat. And because so many stitches are done into it, all I need to do is just, actually I usually leave a long tail, and I can, if there are any gaps that are bigger than the other gaps on the top, I can use this to kind of pull them in a little bit, especially on the hats. I like to do that. So we are ready to go with round 3. And for every single round, we are going to be turning our project so that we are working into the back of the stitches of the row below. Okay, to start round 3, or row 3. Technically, I guess they are rows because we keep turning each round, but we're going to do our normal, whatever you have been doing. We're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and make block 1 of the round. Okay, that's block 1, and we're going to join it to the block below it in the gap, just like normal, corner to corner. Chain up 3 for the next block up. Oops. And we're up to the peak. We're going to make the first block just like normal. And take that out, it wants to move around. Okay, that's our normal corner to corner block. But we need one more stitch here in order to have something to work into to do the next block of this peak. We're going to chain up 3 now after we've done that extra. Kind of turn your work a little bit, and we're going to work around that double crochet stitch and do and you can kind of pull that down and pull it into shape, and you attach it to the next block, the one below it, and work up the side and go on around, and we will come back and show you what to do when you get to the end. Okay, so we've gone all the way around, and we're ready to do the last block. This is round 3. So we have completed the last block, and again we need to fill in this gap by going into that slip stitch. And because of the way I did that join there, I have a really nice slip stitch that's really easy to find the 2 loops. So I'm going to put my double crochet into there, and then I'm going to do my join. There. So if you're making one color, then you would just simply continue going around, turning and doing the next round, turn and do the next round, and continue until it's as big as you want it. Now, you'll notice that the outside edges of when you make it this way are going to be scalloped. And they're not even really even scallops, especially on the outside peaks here. So I have come up with a way that you can work a I call it an evening out round. So this is what I have come up with. So we are going to slip. Evening out rounds are worked into the back. We'll pretend that we're making smaller squares and we want to be able to join them. Now you could do all sorts of things. You could, join them point to point or whatever, get creative with it. But if you want to join these blocks to normal blocks, this is how you can even it out. Or if you're making the large blanket, you're going to slip stitch over. And here again, I'm going to repeat this. If you are making the version of blocks where you're chaining up 5 and 2 for the very final round, in order to be able to work these peaks and have the correct number of stitches to work them, you need to make sure that you do that round with, on the peaks, you need to chain up 3 on both of the things that you do in order to have what you need. The other recommendation, this is especially important for the blanket, is I've been working with a 5.5 millimeter hook, and it's important to go down a hook size. Here's my 5 millimeter hook, so I'm going to put this away. Well, actually, I don't want to have to look for it when I go to the next section. But we're going to work for this with the 5 millimeter hook because it gives a more manageable and makes it so it doesn't bow out, because otherwise you'll have wavy edges. And you need to experiment. It won't be as obvious on a small project like this, but on a larger project where you have 15 or 20 on a side, it will be obvious if you put in too many stitches. So what we've done is we've gotten here to the edge. We've only done the 3 stitches there. We're skipping that one. Okay. And if we worked into this, we could do it, but it leaves a gap and it looks awkward. So what I found works the best is to go into here and make your double crochet. And then in these 3 stitches, we need to have it come down to 2. Now you can work out whatever you want, but this is what I've come up with, and it's probably not not something that's in the books. Okay, I don't know what to call it. Another alternative would be, what is it, with 2 half double crochets. I think it's like this. And that could work too. And I actually like the way that looks, but it's a little higher than I want it to be, so it's awkward. So what we need is, let's try a half double crochet, and then another half double crochet, but we're going to go into this one, this single crochet, and bring it down. See if that works. I experiment because it is different really with every single yarn that you have, and every, your tension, everything. And my tension may be different than yours, and it also is probably different with different, so you can kind of experiment and do like one edge or part, if you have a very long edge, part of one edge, and just see what seems to work. If you can get it so that you can, here, let's try this. It's kind of a half double crochet, and then instead coming down and doing that one like we did over there. See if that looks better. That kind of dips a little bit, maybe. And then our single crochet. Yeah, I think that brings it down too much, so for this yarn, this hook, I would probably go with the half double crochet, half double crochet, and then in these two stitches, start with a half double, pick up the single crochet, and just do them all together. So, or maybe here, let's try this. Let's try doing 2 single crochets together. That might be even better. Yeah, I like that the best. Okay, that's probably what I would do. Okay, that brings us to the peak. And the peaks, again, with every yarn, and and what your choice is for how you want it to look, whether you want a rounded peak or you want a full peak, you do need to make sure that you're not creating anything that's going to bow out too much with the blanket. It's a little different with the shawl because you don't have other, it's okay if it bows up. Shawls look good that way, but you can't have that when you have 4 sides. It just bulks up. So I'm experimenting. We only have 1, 2, 3, the center stitch, and then 1, 2, 3. So we are going to have only those 7 stitches. It's not a big deal if you have to rip out. And we are working into stitches and not into the chain space here. So find some part of that. I've done a slip stitch into there. And I think what I'm going to do is a single crochet into there and see how that looks. And I'm going to try a double crochet or half double crochet into the next one. And I've already used 3 of the stitches here. There's the center. So I'm going to go into this one again with the double crochet. See how that looks. And then I'm going to do a treble into that center. And lay it down and kind of look at it, see if it lines up nicely and so forth. And I think I like that. So I'm going to try it on this one. And after you've done your experimenting and you decide on what you want, you need to make note of it so that you repeat that on the other 4 corners. So we're going to do, in this one, we're going to do the double crochet, the half double crochet, and the single crochet, and the slip stitch. So, and that seems not to bow too much. It seems to come to a nice point, and if you're connecting, you can use that treble crochet as the, actually, let's see, there's the treble. Yeah, right there. You can mark that and use that when you're joining. And then you would just simply, whatever you decided worked over here, with combination of 3 stitches, you would simply go down the other 3 sides with that same combination of stitches on each one of the blocks until you had gone all the way around and finished the peaks and finished the sides of the block. And that's how you even it off if you're making, you know, like a full blanket, or if you're making squares that you want to join together. So we will come back with a section or a video on how to join new colors and how to carry those colors up invisibly so that you're not cutting yarn and having to weave in all those ends at the end.